You gotta unmute yourself, Mary Ellen. Welcome. We have Mary Ellen back from her holiday. She was away for 2 weeks, and we have our holistic nutritionist back joining us this evening. Welcome, Mary Ellen.
Oh, thank you, Nada. Well, good evening, everyone. And I like to thank everyone for coming on the call tonight, because the topic we're talking about tonight, stress and overeating, is such a huge issue with people. And I mean, we have stress all year round. Like, I know myself, like, I was working as a law clerk before I got involved in NeoLife, and I had so much stress. And I don't think I was dealing with it very well either. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, how you can, because everyone is under stress, but it's how you deal with it and how your body balances it that is the key. And especially, you know, with families and kids, and I mean, there's so many issues with stress, and stress does so many things to the body, and especially during the Christmas time. So I always kind of ask people, you know, how are you feeling? Like, you know, because that's a key. Are you tired of feeling tired? How many people are stressed over the holiday season? And, you know, over the last few years, we've not even had the normal holiday stresses, but everything else that we've been dealing with. And do you overeat on the holidays? And we're going to give you some tips tonight on how you can deal with that. And does your family get sick over the holidays? And, you know, because that's the worst, right? When you're dealing with illness on top of everything else. So with stress, is anyone out here? Is anyone stressed out here? Like, you know, like everyone has some stress. Has anyone ever been stressed? I know myself, I'm stressed all the time, right? Do you have people in your life who stress you out? Like, you know, sometimes being on the holidays, being with family can be very stressful. And do you stress anyone out? And I'm sure that happens as well. So did you know that stress may be at the heart of the aging process, as well as diminishing other vital psychological processes? And when you look at what stress does to the body, it shuts down so many systems. And stress, to give you a definition, is a physical or emotional strain on the body or mind. And it's the body's natural response to danger, fight or flight. Because before, remember, if we had to run from the tiger, that's when that stress would go in. But physical stress is when an external or natural change or force acts on the body. But emotional stress may be the results of fear, hate, love, anger, tension, grief, job frustration, or anxiety. So that is just as deadly as physical stress. And now we have the newest stress, the techno stress, because what are we surrounded by all the time? Cell phones, pagers, you know, all the political agenda that's going on and everything else, right? So what are some of the common symptoms of stress? Well, headaches, that was me, number one. I had headaches all the time. Prone to infection because your immune system's suppressed, right? High blood pressure, neck and back aches, because what happens is the body internalizes and it puts all that stress in your back and your neck. Dizziness, some people get vertigo, diarrhea, tearfulness, they get very emotional, irritability. Some people lose their appetite or some people overeat. There's the two different. With me, I was the type of person, I didn't eat at all, but I know other people eat, you know, they get hungrier when they're stressed out. Some people get sick, very common, lack of concentration, sexual problems, fatigue, insomnia. So it leads us to dis-ease, which is disease, right? That's basically what stress does. So how can we handle and survive the stress of life? Because there is things you can absolutely do. And one of the most crucial things is to supply all the nutrients needed by our body on a daily basis. We support, and this prevents our body from breaking down. I always think of stress as like a bridge, right? You got a solid foundation with all the nutrients, you won't collapse, because you collapse if you're deficient in any area. And when our bodies need nutrients the most, what do we usually do? That's when I talk to people, oh, I stopped drinking water, I stopped eating fruits and vegetables, I stopped doing all the stuff, because we don't have time to do it, right? Because we're so stressed out. And what about our food supply challenges? So most of the food that we bring home from the grocery store is deficient in nutrients. A lot of the vegetables are grown by chemical fertilization and mineral depleted soils, and minerals are crucial for that. Our grains are stripped of their nutrients in the refining industry, and we shortchange ourselves by skipping meals and eating junk food. When we don't have time, what do people do? They go through the drive-through, right? But what about our glands? Like, you think our nervous system is the first glandular system. Immediately it's affected. But then it starts affecting the pancreas and the adrenals. And our adrenals are our stress glands. And that's when people start having issues. And that's why so many people during menopause have so many issues, because their adrenals are so stressed out. So what is affected by stress? Well, number one is digestion. And you think, why is that? Because the body shuts digestion down, because it prioritizes, because it knows that I have to run away from the tiger. So where does it put all the energy? In our muscles. But are we moving these days? No, we're not moving anywhere, right? So it gets all congested. Neurological, our nerves, circulatory, and our muscles. And this is where all the issues start happening. So how do we cope with stress? We can do it positively or negatively. Well, negatively include excessive intake of things like sugar and refined carbs. Because what do? We crave them, right? Because they're comfort foods. Caffeine and alcohol, smoking, overeating, watching too much TV. And we've seen that a lot during, what we've been going through. Netflix is, whoever had shares in that is like a billionaire to these days. And emotional outbursts, overspending, and feelings of worthlessness. And the overspending, of course, is the retail therapy, right? You see a lot of people do that during stress, right? They buy a lot of stuff. So what can we do positive? Well, exercise is such a great thing to do with stress, because you just feel so much better. Meditation and relaxation is awesome. Getting in the sun, which is not so easy here in Canada, but you can still get outside and go for a walk. Pets are great. Like, I know I told my husband we had to get a dog because, when he comes home, I just don't I don't run and wake my tail and get all excited when he comes in the door, because just that recognition, right? Take a stress management course is helpful. And you know what? Turn off the ringers on your phone and ignore those emails. Shut down the phone for a period of time, because otherwise we're addicted to it, right? Take time out for yourself. Relaxation tapes are good. Massage is amazing. Talking things over with a friend. Eating better, so less red meat, especially the fatty cuts. Watch sugar and salt, and try to do a clean diet. Whole grains, fruits and vegetables, more fatty fish like salmon. Those things make us feel better, because at least it soothes their digestive system. So now I'd like to introduce Nada, because can you explain to us what's going on with our grains, Nada? It's just crazy now.
Mary Ellen, when I saw this over 30 years ago, it made me understand why I was so tired all the time. I had a very stressful job, and I was able to handle the stress of my job, but the shift work it just killed me. My adrenal glands were compromised. I was working as a police officer, and I just found that even though I was eating healthy, I was still struggling. And it was when I discovered the reason why, and you talked a lot about the glands and hormones and adrenals. Well, these grains are milled and processed to have a longer shelf life. And these are the key nutrients that help to support our adrenal glands, that help to deal with the fatigue. And they mill our grains for longer shelf life. Years ago, they used to grind the wheat, right? And they'd have to make the breads daily, fresh, because it had a very short shelf life. Now, how long do our breads last, right? Weeks, pasta last years, actually forever, and cereals last years. So the processing of the grains began in the 1940s. So again, our grains are no longer whole. Again, it had to find a way to make our foods last longer on the shelf. And the lipids and sterols have been stripped. And this is why we're tired, why we have PMS, hormonal imbalances, and why we really struggle with dealing with stress these days, especially our kids and our teens. So NeoLife supports every link in the chain of life. So the lipids and sterols are those grain oils from TraNN, and that's how NeoLife started back in 1958. And it helps to complete that chain of life, because we need vitamins and minerals and protein and carbohydrates, but lipids and sterols are essential. And I'm going to just explain a little bit and take you on this little journey on how TraNN was developed and why TraNN was developed, and how does it work, and who needs it? Well, everybody needs it because of the breads, not lasting weeks, and the cereals and the pasta. So again, the oils have been stripped for longer shelf life. And where can you get these oils? NeoLife developed a product called TraNN Grain Concentrate in 1958, made from grains that are not non-GMO. Helps with PMS, stress, hormonal balance, fatigue, and nutrients absorb better, because it gets your cells working better. Nutrients can get in, waste can go out, because every single cell in your body is surrounded by that fatty layer, those lipids and phytosterols. If you're not getting these grain oils in your diet, your cells look like the cell on the left, very tired and very sluggish. So Tran is made from whole wheat, rice, and soy, versus what other companies are using as something like the African potato. So NeoLife stays within the human food chain that we have been consuming for centuries, okay? So there's only two ways to get these daily grain oils in your diet. Eat fresh, non-rancid, whole seeds, grains, and nuts every day, or take one Tran, it's only 8.3 calories, or consume the 550 calories of freshly ground whole grain every day to equal one Tran. So I don't know, I when I saw this product, I thought, okay, this is a lot easier, right, to supplement the nutrients that are missing from my diet. And Jeannie Aldred is one of the first distributors to take this product. She was bedridden with rheumatoid arthritis. Her husband bought the first bottle at an event, brought it home to her. And let me tell you, this product changed her life because it got her adrenal glands working properly and reduced inflammation in her body. So important. So you got to get these grain oils in your diet. You got to look at your fridge and your pantry, right? You got to see what's missing, right? Am I eating a lot of these dark colored fruits and vegetables? Am I eating whole grains every day? Well, huge deficiency. So not only are we not eating enough whole grains, we're also not eating enough fruits and vegetables. And fruits and vegetables play such a big role in cancer prevention, immune function, slowing aging, preventing disease. And they're recommending 9 to 13 servings a day. And we tend to eat more sugary foods, processed foods, hors d'oeuvres, right? Especially this time of year coming up. So, you know, one tip, and I know Mary Ellen, you shared this with me a long time ago. Don't go to these Christmas functions hungry, okay? You know, have something light to eat before you do go, even though you know there's gonna be a spread of food. And when you do get there, your plate, I mean, there's usually options of fruits and vegetables, veggie dips, hummus, right? And then as you go along, there's a lot of your processed snacks and fatty things, and just have a little bit of that. But majority of your plate should be those nice colored, dark colored fruits and veggies, okay? Just remember that as a Christmas tip this year when you're going to some of these Christmas parties. So carotenoids are what makes your fruits and vegetables the dark colors. So Carotenoid Complex is made from tomatoes, carrots, peppers, spinach, apricots, and peaches, whereas a lot of other companies are using other things that you just wouldn't sit down to eat or put on your plate, okay? So again, stay within the human food chain. Another thing we should be eating more of, and Mary Ellen mentioned this earlier, is eating more fish. Fatty fish. 3 servings a week is what they're recommending. It helps with cholesterol, heart health, arthritis, aches and pains, headaches, you know, your brain function. So important for babies and skin issues like eczema and ADD, ADHD. So focusing and concentrating. This all plays a really, really big role. And when you're under a lot of stress, you know, you need your brain to be functioning properly, okay? And not only that, you don't want to be, you know, dealing with some of these health challenges that come along with not eating enough of these omega-3 fatty acids, okay? But there's a concern, right? There's so many articles on toxic fish, and, you know, they're saying now not to eat more than 1 serving a week, and kids should really be careful. And so it's a huge, huge challenge is finding and eating clean fish. Well, the NeoLife salmon oil is non-GMO, and it's tested for over 200 contaminants. It's tested regularly, and they don't use all the bottom feeder stuff like other organizations might be using. It's clean fish that's tested and non-GMO. So this is really, really important. And the NeoLife salmon oil has all 8 omega-3. It doesn't just have EPA and DHA. Okay, it was even featured by the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists as being safe for pregnant moms and safe for baby and kids. So this is really, really important. So again, tested for 200 contaminants, 0 tolerance, cold Atlantic waters. It's made from salmon, tuna, sardines, and anchovies, all 8 omega-3s. Recommended again for pregnant moms and babies. Featured by the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. And yes, I know you guys are laughing. I said pregnant babies, but I guess you guys are listening. So that proves that you guys are actually listening to what I'm saying. So thank you. So the power of completeness, right? Is your fish oil complete? This is really important. You need to make sure your fish oil delivers all 8 omega-3, and that's how nature intended it to be for you, okay, in our diet. The science, this is what really, I guess, sealed the deal for me when I started taking the products. They did help my family. They made a difference in my health, and I understood why, because of the science behind these products. And I know, Marianne, that was a real factor for you as a holistic nutritionist, and you have total confidence in recommending these products to your clients because you know the solid science, right, to support these products, just like the salmon oil. Like I know, Marilyn, before NeoLife, you were a migraine sufferer. And in a very short time, right, taking the salmon oil, right, what a difference it made in your health, right? So important.
Absolutely.
So when you look at the NeoLife Difference, whole food ingredients, the best choice is all made from whole food. And these products, carotenoids, trannin, and salmon oil, come in this convenient pack called Pro Vitality with an extra multivitamin mineral tablet in there. So this is a great product to help to fill the gap, okay, to make sure we're getting those grain oils, the fruits and veggies, the fish, and a good quality multivitamin. Now let's talk about breakfast, because this is something that I know I struggled with, especially when I was working shift work. And kids today, what do kids eat for breakfast? Usually it's a lot of carbohydrates and sugary snacks, or like toast, bagel, muffins, like a lot of carbohydrates. They're not getting good quality proteins first thing in the morning. So the NeoLife Shake, every bag, okay, so you're getting, it lasts 15 days. It's equivalent to consuming 4 dozen eggs, okay, the protein quality, 57 servings of yogurt, 14 salmon steaks, okay, and every bag of protein that NeoLife gives you. And the dietary fiber is equivalent to 22 cups of strawberries, 45 cups of broccoli, or 90 cups of mushrooms. So again, amazing product to help your body just work better and give you the good quality protein, rather than doing what most adults do, coffee or nothing, or again, you know, driving through that Tim Hortons lineup, right? Or like what kids are consuming, a lot of sugary snacks. And it's all natural, all 22 amino acids, it's complete fiber, like we talked about, a glycemic control response, so gets that blood sugar in the glycemic control zone. And you don't crave those carbs and those sugary snacks if your blood sugar is curbed and regulated. So this product is great to keep your blood sugar regulated. It has all those whole food antioxidants. So it is a complete meal replacement, nothing artificial, no preservatives, no hydrogenated fats, 90% lactose free, no GMO ingredients, and it tastes really good. Vanilla, chocolate, and creamy berry. So now let's talk a little bit about what happens over the holidays. We tend to sometimes, you know, indulge a little bit more, again, eat some of those foods that we shouldn't be eating, but make that conscious effort, because I find that it's so hard when you work hard all year. We're doing the detoxes through the spring and the fall, and we start to put on a few pounds. A few pounds is okay, but if you're putting on 10 to 15 pounds, then that's a lot of weight. So if you want to lose that belly fat, if you want to shrink, if you're really struggling with your weight, this NeoLife Shake is a great product to add. And we do have a weight loss plan. So after the holidays, some people tend to dive into this weight loss program where they have a shake for breakfast and lunch with snacks in between and a healthy dinner. So it is designed to burn fat. Okay, and you're eating every 3 to 4 hours. So you're not starving when you're on this weight loss program. So now I'd like to talk a little bit more about stress. And I know, Mary Ellen, you talked about stress. I think this is one of your favorite products, would you say, when you were dealing with the stress of your job?
Oh my gosh, I just found once I started taking the B vitamins, it made such a huge difference. And because what happens when you're under stress, within like 20 minutes, you can lose every B in your body. So because this is threshold control sustained, it gives you that 4 to 6 hours of power. It's got all 10 members and it's all whole food.
Yeah. And would you say also over the holidays, we're consuming a little more alcohol? Some people do consume, not all. And what happens to alcohol in your B vitamins?
Oh, once you drink alcohol, you lose all the B vitamins in your body. So that's why a lot of people take extra Bs if they are drinking, just to help balance that out.
For sure. So the drinking B, and it's causing stress and depleting the Bs. And so this is definitely a product that if you are, under a lot of stress, definitely a product to increase. And if you are consuming alcohol, then you could take a little bit more of this product as well to help to alleviate. So a lot of benefits for B vitamins is energy, again, helps with fat burning as well. A healthy skin and muscles, repairing your cellular DNA, cell growth and division, and relieving PMS. This is a big product I find for teens that are struggling with PMS. They would add this to the grain oils or like the multivitamin with grain oils. Makes a huge impact in helping to deal with their cycle as well. So other stress support, Mary Ellen, what else do we have to support the stress in our life?
Yeah, there's a lot of great products. And another thing too with the B vitamins, if you're on any medication at all, medication is like birth control pills, a lot of antibiotics, all those all deplete the B vitamins as well. So that's another sign of, because sometimes people do have to take medication for certain reasons, but you got to realize you're losing your Bs. But one of my most favorite products is the Aloe Vera Plus. You think this has been used for like over 4,000 years to support health, stamina, but what is so great, it supports the gut, right? And it contains aloe vera juice, but herbal tea, electrolytes, vitamin C, and it's got a natural sweeteners so it doesn't taste terrible. So many of the products, people say to me, oh, I just go to the health food store and buy this aloe. Well, it's got they squish the whole leaf, it's got all the toxins in there, and it tastes absolutely disgusting, right? So this is very easy to take. And the thing is, when you look at our aloe, the first ingredient is aloe. Most products you see the first ingredient is water, right? Because it's made with 50% aloe juice from the gel-only process for optimal taste and efficacy. And it has that herbal tea blend. So it's ginseng to energize, chamomile and passion flower, which calm and relax. And we've had really great results. I know I've had so many people with colitis, diverticulitis, Crohn's. I know a good friend of mine, her mom, the fiber and this aloe kept her diverticulitis in, like, she passed away in her 90s and she was in remission for years and years and years.
Yeah, this really helped. And my friend Brenda too, right, Mary Ellen? When I met her, our kids were only 3 months old, and she had several attacks, and she's been on the aloe now for 23 years. And she gets the odd little flare up when if she drinks alcohol or eats the wrong food, that's it. But she's never had to have her bowel removed. And that was what they were looking at, is bowel surgery. And this aloe.
Yeah, and even Crohn's, which it's an autoimmune disease. But I had a young girl, and when she went for her follow-up at Sick Kids, she had very, very severe Crohn's. They couldn't find a trace of it. And when she told the nurse what she was doing, she said, yeah, she said, I find people that are on these type of products do so much better. So,
Wow.
I mean, if you could do something, you have to think too, even if you don't have these conditions, think what it's doing if you're healthy, right? As far as prevention, right? Sort of thing.
Yeah, I remember Don Lawson, one of our doctors of nutrition many years ago, would say, even an ounce of aloe a day can help to keep so many things at bay in your gut and just keep you healthy. So, because it keeps that
ulcers too.
Yeah.
Yep. Any inflammation, it heals from, he used to say, from the minute it goes in your mouth to the minute it goes out, right? Everywhere.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we've got sugar, right? So you think over the holidays, are we going to be eating more sugar? Probably. What does sugar do? It shuts immunity. A Harvard study in the 1960s cast doubt on sugar's role in heart disease, pointing the finger at fat. But what they did is they took the fat out of the products and they started dumping them with sugar. And it was just a disaster area because the diabetes now is off the charts. Sugar is empty calories. It gives us cavities. And you know what? It makes us, you get an initial where you feel a little better, but then you feel worse because once that blood sugar drops, you just feel hangry and horrible. And yeah, it's so toxic. And one of the big things it does, it causes candida in the body. And if you have candida, you will crave sugar. And I talked to a girl today whose daughter was having skin issues. And I said, does she crave sugar? She said, all the time. I said, well, she probably has candida. What candida is, it sounds very complicated, but it's really an imbalance of that good and bad bacteria in the gut. And so what causes things like that? Antibiotics, breads, carbs, sugar, alcohol, birth control pills, steroids. Sometimes the kids even pick it up from the mom through the birth canal. So they've had it from birth. And, you know, a lot of times you see a lot of symptoms with it. People sometimes, not saying you necessarily get all of this, but this is the thing, like some people are prone to yeast infections, ear infections, headaches, foggy brain, very sensitive to perfume or smoke. Some people get athlete's foot, you crave sugar, fatigue, depression, muscle aches, pressure above the ears, diarrhea or constipation, spots in front of the eyes, erratic vision, mood swings, a lot of mucus. I used to get massive sinus infections. That was mine. And when I did that yeast test from Dr. William Crook, I never had like vaginal yeast infections, but oh my gosh, I scored like off the chart. And some people get whiteness on their tongue, irritability, hemorrhoids. Like there's just so many problems with candida. And so what can we do? Well, as we know, we all have this good and bad bacteria in our colon, and it can take over the entire digestive tract. So what we need to do is kill that bad bacteria and put back the good bacteria. And we do that with our yeast cleanse. This is my most favorite cleanse. You know, I like the 3-day detox, but this one is amazing. So when you're doing it, you try to avoid things like sugars, yeasty breads. You could do like a little bit of sourdough or rye bread. You try to avoid crackers, cookies, baked goods, dairy products, fermented foods such as wine, beer, vinegar, soy sauce, dry fruits, peanuts, canned and processed foods. I always do this cleanse in January. I take a whole month and after Christmas, and I just do a total detox. And it's so easy. You do 6 garlic at dinner for 10 nights, right? Or until you smell the garlic. Sometimes it takes a little longer. And 6 acidophilus in the morning for 30 days. And I tell you, even within the first 10 days, I feel my stomach's flatter. I feel lighter. I find it really, it is a longer cleanse than the 3-day detox, but it works amazing, you know. And I've had, I had a spa in Mississauga where people have skin issues. And if the estheticians couldn't clean it up with the facials, they would send them to me and I put them on the yeast cleanse and it cleaned their skin right up. It was amazing.
And it's easy to do because I mean, like with a 3-day detox, you're looking at avoiding a lot of foods and eating just fruits and vegetables. So with the yeast cleanse, I think we just ask people to try to stay away from sugary snacks and foods and processed.
You can pretty well eat healthy, normal, right?
Right.
You don't have to avoid meats and all that type of stuff. And then once you finish the cleanse, a lot of people find for general maintenance, if they take 1 garlic at night and 1 acidophilus in the morning to kind of keep things in check. And I mean, it's a win-win because garlic has so many benefits anyways. It's good for blood pressure, for all sorts of things. And remember we asked John Miller and he said, you know, we said, should you take acidophilus every day? And he said, well, you think what we're doing and exposed to in our environment, we're wiping out that good bacteria every single day. So it's definitely a win-win to take it on an ongoing basis. I've taken acidophilus for 26 years now or something every single day, and I wouldn't go a day without it.
Me too. Awesome. And now before we get into our digestion talk, I would love to have Shelly, because Shelly, oh my gosh, when I met Shelly, she's going to share her journey with you because I've learned a lot about sugar from Shelly and her experience and her journey. And I think she can share something with us just to give us a clearer picture of what could happen. Hey, Shelly?
Absolutely. Thanks, Nada. And I'll just give you the Coles notes because I actually had a sugar addiction. I mean, I grew up on sweets and eating the carbs and developed different rashes as I got into being a teenager and couldn't figure out what was going on. When I got married and I had my son, he also, as Mary Ellen said, I passed it to him through the birth canal. He had earache and then antibiotic and earache after antibiotic. So we just kind of wiped out his system doing it that way. And then he ended up with a heat rash. I used to call him my carb kid because he loved his carbs, not really understanding, the difference of the healthy foods and everything and what the differences were and cereal, every morning as well, which contributed to that. And he got that heat rash as he, developed, became a teenager and ended up with irritable bowel syndrome, just as things were not treated. And like I said, like I had all kinds of issues because of the sugar addiction, vision, my blood sugars were just all over the place as well. And just all those cravings. I mean, I would walk into a place, and Christmas was an ideal time when, oh my goodness, all these treats out there, and I was right there enjoying them, and probably and enjoying them more than I should have, because once I started having it, it just triggered me and I just wanted more. So once I learned about Candida, and was able to balance that both for my son and myself, the yeast cleanse was incredible to help with that, plus other supplements to just support the liver as well. I now do that detox, the 3-day detox, 3 times a year to keep things balanced. I do exactly what Mary Ellen said. I have that garlic at night, and the acidophilus in the morning. If I do enjoy it, it's not that I don't have any sugar at all now, but I'm very cautious. Having an addiction, it kind of like it triggers things. So if I have something, that's a lot more sugar than I would even have 2 garlic at night, just to kind of, make sure that I maintain things. So, when we're talking about Christmas and being out, some of the things that I do is I do exactly what you said. I eat before I go, so I'm not as tempted, and I've had something healthy. I make sure that if there is a room that has the treats, I'm in another room, and I will enjoy people there, and I'll even, I'll have my glass of whatever I'm drinking, just to make sure that I'm not overly tempted, because if I'm tempted, I'm running into trouble. So there are a few tricks in terms of choosing the foods. If you're able to go to a table and get those vegetables and fruits and have something like that, wonderful. And if you're able to have one snack and stop at that, good for you. I'm not, and I know that about myself. I've learned that about myself. So just putting myself away from it and distancing it so that it's not triggering me, it is my main thing that I do at Christmas.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much, Shelley. Really appreciate you, because I know it's going to be a challenge for some people. So this is just to put that in your head. I think as long as you're aware, right? As long as you're aware, and you're not just, not thinking about what you're doing. I think that's the big thing. If you're not aware, right? So,
and also if you make that, there are times where I say, do you know what, I want to treat myself today, whatever the event is. And I'll say, do you know what, I'm going to enjoy this. It's not that I try to, never have something or punish myself, or it's not about that. You need to enjoy your food, and you need to enjoy your family and the events. But then I've made a conscious decision to have it, and then I'm done for that night. And then I go home and I'll have my garlic, and I'm good to go. Yeah.
Awesome. Great tip. Thank you so much. And, a lot of the stuff that you're talking about does affect your digestive system. I know that did havoc on both you and Mitchell. And sometimes even overeating when you're at these events, it does cause a lot of, the bloating, the gas, indigestion. And there's a couple of products that I do take a little more of, especially if I'm eating more than I would normally eat. And the Beta-Gest is the hydrochloric acid that helps with that initial stage of digestion with that heartburn and breaking down the foods to start, right? So Beta-Gest is something that I carry around in a little vitamin box, and same with the digestive enzymes. These are 2 products, and the enzymes help to support optimal digestion of protein, carbs, and fats. And, it helps to maximize nutrient availability and absorption. It helps with bloating, right? That southern gas. So again, if you're going to be eating a little bit more than you would normally eat, you can take a little bit more of these products. Some people will just do like one Beta-Gest and one enzyme with every meal as a regular, with their regular meals. But then if you're eating more of those carbs, eating more of those, fatty foods like more cheese, which tends to come around over the holidays, then you can definitely take a little more of the Beta-Gest and enzymes to help with that bloating and that gas and the indigestion. Then I find too, if you're not digesting your meal, your food, you feel tired and very sluggish, and have difficulty sleeping. Okay, because those nutrients are just not being broken down properly. So just really helps with that discomfort. Another thing is the probiotics. And Marilyn did talk about the yeast cleanse, having that acidophilus or probiotic. Well, the probiotic, it does help to regulate intestinal function. Again, aids in digestion, improves the lactose intolerance, inhibits the growth of pathogenic bacteria, helps with your body absorbing minerals and preventing diarrhea. So this is a very powerful product, especially over the holidays, because we are consuming a little more sugar than normal. So something we can definitely add and increase. So it's just to make sure to recolonize, okay, to put in that good bacteria because of the extra alcohol that you might be consuming, or sugar, processed foods, things like nachos and things like that, destroy a lot of that good live bacteria. Okay, in your lower intestine. And why NeoLife's acidophilus? Well, it helps to support healthy gastrointestinal balance and immune function, delivers 5 billion live beneficial bacteria directly to the intestine. So bypasses the stomach acid, gets to the intestine. Exclusive blend of 5 clinically proven beneficial bacteria. And I'm not going to say them, but they're very, very powerful. So again, it's gel guard protected, bypasses all those, the stomach acid to get to where it needs to get to. And, a lot of people have shared with us, Marilyn, I know being a holistic nutritionist, you probably see a lot of products out there that have the 50 billion, right, live bacteria. And maybe you can describe a little bit of the difference between, why does the 5 billion that NeoLife have work better?
Yeah, I know people get really hung up on those numbers, but they have to remember that 50 billion is at manufacture. It's not tested that it gets actually down into the intestine. And NeoLife has a mechanical stomach, and they put through all the probiotics, and our probiotic was the only one that made it through into the intestines. So you're getting guaranteed standardized 5 billion with every single capsule. So it's much better to get that than, and who knows how much you're absorbing. It's just like, it's great to eat yogurt and those type of things, but very little of it gets past the stomach acid and actually gets into the actual intestine.
And it's all whole food derived. All the NeoLife products are made from whole food, non-GMO ingredients. We talked a little bit about the science. We have a team of scientists that work together in developing, manufacturing the product. And Dr. First, he's a founding member of our scientific advisory board. He was one of the top cancer researchers in the world, one of the top toxicologists. He was the co-founder of oral chemotherapy, but he got away from drug research because he knew food and nutrition and diet played a really big role in supporting the body, preventing disease, slowing the aging process. So this is really, really, really valuable that we have this incredible team. And in January at our rally, we're going to have 3 of these scientists are going to be speaking at our event for free. So I would highly recommend you set aside January the 29th and listen to these scientists speak and share. The knowledge you will gain on that Saturday will be incredible. So I really, really, really guarantee you'll enjoy it, and it'll be worth the few hours that you spend on a Saturday afternoon. Okay, so this is going to be your TV program if you do like watching TV on a Saturday. So amazing event. But these scientists, Marilyn and I and most of the team, I've seen most of these scientists speak, and this is how we learn a lot about nutrition. Okay, so very, very valuable information. And a lot of the research has been published, in scientific journals, peer-reviewed, like Carotenoids in Human Health, the American Clinical Nutrition, all of these journals, the New England Journal of Medicine, have taken the NeoLife products and published their own findings, which is really, really important. So third party, okay? So we really, we're looking at, what do I do? Healthy eating, healthy choices. This breakfast pack is an incredible place to start if you're looking at just supplementing, with that Pro Vitality and doing a protein shake a day. You might want to add those B vitamins if you're feeling a little more stressed. If you do have challenges with your digestion, you might want to look at the beta-adjusted enzymes and acidophilus. And if you're finding that you might be a little yeasty, then you might want to consider that yeast cleanse in the new year. So I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I will be stopping the the recording and opening up to questions. So I know we covered a lot of different things tonight. So if you have any questions, we're going to open up to questions. So thank you again. Have a wonderful Christmas, a happy holiday, and healthy eating.